62 pounds in 21 weeks, folks. Hi everyone, my name is Chris Martin. Welcome to Keto with me. I had a very interesting week for week 21, but before we get to that, let's go ahead and get to the results. So my weight loss for week 21 was 1.4 pounds. That brings me to a total of 62 pounds lost since I started my journey 21 weeks ago. And that gives me a new weight of 172.4. If you follow my diary series, then you know I track, a lot more than just weight. So one of the things that I track and is very important to me is the amount of sleep I get per night. So I've been averaging on average, well, I had to say that twice, but I've been averaging about 8 hours sleep per night. Yes, you heard correctly. And that's uninterrupted sleep. And that's actually been going on for, several weeks now. So I just wanted to share with you that it's more than just weight loss. At the beginning of the video, I had mentioned that it was an interesting week and that I would touch base on it. Well, this next area, which is, technically the world I live in, which is fasting, is basically what it affected more than anything. So let me get into that. So prior to this week, I have completed let me just say this first. The world I live in right now, as far as like day to day, is I do 1 meal a day, fasting. That's pretty much what I do throughout the week. And then what I've been doing is, doing a long fast, such as a 48 or a 72 hour. Well, my goal was to keep doing 72s, and I had done like 9 72-hour fasts in a row, and then did a 48, and then took a break for a couple weeks, and then bounced to some another 72 and another 72. So I have 11 72-hour fasts under my belt and 4 48s. During this whole 21 week time. Well, my intention was to do a 72-hour fast during week 21, but the issue is that my wife and I also had to, during that week, we were going to do our open water certification. My brother's a diver, scuba instructor and all that, so he's got us into doing diving now. And so we were doing our certification dives, and wow, that is a lot of work. So we were basically over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So if you here in a bit, I'll talk about some other numbers. My average carbs for the week were higher than normal. It was like 22 compared to under 20. A lot of things happen, but when you're doing something like that, where it has like a high intensity exercise, so to speak, you tend to break your fast sooner. So my 1 meal a day, on both days, kind of ended a little sooner, not like drastic, like at hour 21, hour 22. And, so essentially I feasted quite a bit on those 2 days, stayed keto, by the way, but feasted, went up a little bit on the carbs one of those days. And then the goal was, like normal on Sunday after my last meal, which is usually, around 5 or 6, I would roll into a 72-hour fast. Well, that was the intent. I started out, on my 12th 72-hour fast, got to, Monday about 3, probably a little sooner, and I just wasn't having it. My body was like, food, move. It was, and again, people, I want to make this clear that it's not like I'm craving sugar or anything. I need energy, and so I knew right then that I wasn't going to be able to make it. So I went ahead and just, ate dinner on Monday at my normal time around 5:35, and then, said, okay, I'm going to do a 48-hour fast. And guess what? It was no problem. I did the 48-hour fast the next day. My body was all recovered, and all was good. So my whole point about bringing this up is that it made it very interesting, but I didn't deviate. I mean, I still turned it into something. And heck, I was even really kind of okay with if I didn't even do a 48. I just, just what you have to do when, when life, I wouldn't say gets in the way, but when life happens. Point out that, I typically always follow a clean/dirty keto eating style. And what that means is that, I'm usually trying to target whole food, single ingredient foods, or very little ingredient foods, and then try to keep the dirty carbs out as much as, or dirty foods out as much as I can. And that would, but I still, it's impossible to be perfect when you're trying to eat, this lifestyle. You can watch a lot of people's videos and they'll tell you that, you can try to do like 100% clean, but it's not really practical. So you'll see things like pepperoni and, maybe some cheeses, not all of them, because there are clean ones, and things like that, but they're not the majority. They're the minority in this case. So also I wanted to, point out that the reason that my success, why I'm having so much success is that, I'm very dedicated to, staying under 20 carbs. But as I mentioned, when I had to eat, during the scuba thing and my carbs went up, I didn't beat myself up about it. You saw the average was 22 for the whole week. So, you work through those kinds of things. So I shoot for the 75, 5, and 20, as far as macro percentages. So I'm always going there. That helps keep me successful. Probably one of the most significant reasons why I'm successful is that I track, and in my diary series, if you watch it, you'll see that I have a lot of tracking, that I do, and I track in here, I track in the chronometer app, I track on some spreadsheets, and I really know, even when we were out trying to manage stuff at the steakhouse, where we went to dinner the one evening, it was like I was figuring things out why people were talking, but I already knew kind of going into it, because we planned a few days before what I was going to do, or actually what I should say because there was a couple other people there that have, been following keto with me. And, we all were in agreement where our dinner was going to be and kind of what we were targeting and so forth. So those things will help you be successful, and they've made me very, very successful at this. So let's get to what I call my actual other numbers, and because weight's the one that most people want to hear at the beginning, like, how are you doing on your weight loss? Well, this is what I call my other numbers, and I gotta look off screen a little bit, but as I mentioned, my average carbs were 22 for the week. That's higher than normal. I'm normally below 20, but this week, because of what happened and stuff, and there was a day, and if you want to find out like the very specifics of that, go check out week 21's diary series video, and you'll actually see day by day exactly what carbs I had, protein and fat and percentages, the whole 9 yards. So that's what that video is for. My average macro percents, remember I told you I target 75, 5, and 20. Well, my actual averages were 77% fat, 4% carbs, and 19% protein. So that's pretty darn good for having, so even the day that I had the high carbs, I had even higher fat, my protein was in check. So, you can make it work. My blood glucose average for the whole week was 79. That's actually it's 77, I believe, but give me a second. I want to be accurate here because I know it's in my diary series video, but I want to make sure I convey this correctly to you. So it's 77 like I thought. So I had it marked on my screen wrong here. So average blood glucose for all 7 days, 77. Previous week, 79. My ketones were 2.3 for this week on average, and the previous week was 2. My Dr. Boz ratio, if you follow her, my Dr. Boz ratio was 35 for the week, and the previous week it was 47. So I made, pretty significant, improvement during that week, even when I had the challenges of trying to, work through those 2 days out of town. So I do other things to improve my life. One of those things is meditation. I do a couple 5-minute, just take time to breathe and just relax. Nothing significant, right? Just 5 minutes here in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. And, so I just wanted to point that out that, in addition to all this other stuff that I'm doing, I have some of my own things that I like to do. All right, let's talk about what I ate during week 21. So I'm going to look off the list here. I had not just 5, because usually I do a 72-hour fast, but I had 6 meals this week. So chicken stir fry, and that was I believe our first meal for the week. Salmon patties, which is absolutely one of my favorite. You can make those a lot You can make those fatter, should I say, by adding more mayonnaise and so forth. Meatloaf, green beans. We had steak and salad and green beans, and actually I didn't have green beans. I had salad. I had a double salad instead because I just wasn't feeling the green beans. But that was the day that we were at the steakhouse and diving, and boy, oh my gosh, I ate so much. But again, I kept it, high fat, low carb, moderate protein. So, when we got back to, that Sunday, I just ate leftovers. I think it was salmon patty, salad, and a couple other things. And then we finished, because I broke my fast on Monday, I ended up having taco salad and then some other things to kind of augment it. So to me, that was a, very good week. In the end, I lost 1.4 pounds. So that, so you can still make progress even when you have these things up against you. That's it for week 21. Thanks for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe so you can come back. Well, first of all, so you can keto with me, and then you can come back and see what week 22's results are, because I might just actually make it into the 160s. And as always, if you have any comments or questions, you can leave them down below. Just remember, nobody's perfect. Be a coach, not a critic, and take care, folks.